Hi, thank you all for joining us today. We're so glad to have you here. My name is Olga. I'm a marketing manager here at Zen. And for those who might be new to Zen, we're an online platform designed to simplify the hiring process for educators. Our goal is to connect educators directly with hundreds of teaching opportunities, cutting out the middleman and making the process smoother and more transparent for everyone. As we settle into the new year, it's the perfect time to discuss how substitute educators can empower themselves with tools and strategies to not only succeed, but truly stand out in their roles. Our speakers today has a ton of experience in the classroom and also from working day to day with the schools. And they will show you how to truly stand out in the classroom and make 2025 your most impactful year so far. During the session, feel free to use Q&A button to ask a question, and the speakers will address them in the end. And now I'm happy to pass to Rachel and Paige.
Thank you. So we're former teachers who spent years in the classroom. So we've been in your shoes and we understand the unique challenges that educators face every day. So my name is Rachel. I was a elementary teacher for about 14 years before joining Zen and helping educators.
Yeah, and I am Paige. I was also a former educator, 2 years in early education, and then 7 years as a kindergarten teacher here in the Minneapolis area. So very excited to get every day spent with Zen educators.
Wonderful. So during this session, we will be sharing practical, actionable tips to help you excel in the role of substitute. From building strong relationships to managing classrooms and creating a standout reputation, we'll cover strategies you can start using right away. So throughout the session, we'll share some real world examples, stories from our own time as teachers and our experiences with substitutes and paraprofessionals to give you a sense of what these strategies will look like in action. With that, let's dive into our session today and explore how 2025 can be the year you advance your career in a meaningful and impactful way.
Yeah, so first, substitute teaching is so much more than just a temporary role. It's a flexible and really fulfilling job that kind of gives you the chance to make a real impact in the classroom, but also offering you career growth. So, substitute teachers are a vital part of the educational ecosystem, not just stepping in to support teachers, but also contributing to the learning experience for students. Here's something worth highlighting. So, according to Zen's internal data, 45% of all short-term substitute assignments actually turn into long-term or even permanent positions. That's nearly half. It's proof that this role really isn't just a stopgap. It's really a pathway to a career in education. So whether you're just kind of starting out or even thinking of a long-term career in teaching, substitute teaching can be an excellent opportunity to grow, gain some experience, open the door to bigger opportunities, and first and foremost, get to experience a couple different schools and see which fit for you.
So let's take a moment to reflect on why it's important to stand out in the role of substitute. It's not just about doing your job well, which of course is essential, but it's about going above and beyond to leave a lasting impression on both students and staff. So, number one of the most important ways to stand out is building strong relationships with teachers and school leadership. When you establish trust and show that you're dependable, you're not only helping the classroom run smoothly, you're positioning yourself as someone the school wants to invite back and share with others as well in their network. Number two, standing out also means expanding your professional network. The education community can be very small and word travels fast. So when you make a great impression, other teachers, administrators, and district staff notice, which can open up future opportunities. And here is a big one. As Paige was saying earlier, standing out can directly increase your chances of landing a long-term position. We have lots of educators that go from subbing to long-term. And that can happen at a school that you love. Schools are always on the lookout for dedicated educators who demonstrate initiative and professionalism. Those qualities can make you stand out as a top candidate. And then finally, when you stand out, you position yourself as someone teachers and administrators want to recommend to others. As said previously, word of mouth is extremely important, whether it's for a specific position at another school, just a glowing recommendation from a school leader can be the key to advancing your career. So think about this as more than just a temporary role. It's really an opportunity to build those connections, gain experience, showcase your potential as a professional educator. Standing out isn't just about being memorable, it's about creating opportunities for growth and success.
Yeah, so before we jump into some of the strategies that you all can use, I wanted to take a moment just to hear from all of you. Using the chat function or even reactions, I would like you to share some challenges maybe you faced as a substitute teacher or paraprofessional so far. You can share your chat or your thoughts in the chat again. And just remember, we're all here to support each other and grow. That's why you're at this webinar. So it's a great chance to really share your experiences and learn from each other's. I'll give you just some time here if you want to chat or share your experiences in the chat here. Give it a moment. If we don't have any to share, no worries at all too. We've obviously gathered some feedback from Zen substitute teachers and paraprofessionals that we can definitely cover here in just a moment. All right, I'll go ahead and start sharing some of those since I don't see anything in the chat yet. Feel free to add your challenges if you see that. Olga, is that correct?
We have a message from Caitlin. She just shared that workplace culture between management and co-teachers might be a challenge.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a big challenge, kind of fitting into that culture. Excellent. All right. Well, if we want to share some other common challenges, just like Caitlin mentioned, obviously feeling disconnected from the school's culture and community. That could be a big one, whether you're there for a day or even up to a couple weeks here. Managing student behavior without really having that established rapport is also another challenge that we've seen and had reports of. And then really dealing with a lack of community continuity or clarity in lesson plans. Maybe you don't have a set schedule and you're feeling kind of like, where do I go? What do I do? These are all things that all educators time and time again experience. So we'll be addressing just some of the ways in which you can overcome these challenges throughout our session here.
All right, so we have good news. Don't worry. We will be sharing tips on how you can stand out, build connections, and make a lasting impact, even if you're only in the classroom for a short time. I like to think of it as a mindset shift. You know, it might be one day with a group of students, but one day you have that whole day to make an impact in their lives, in their week. So whether you're watching this now or later, we want you to feel supported and equipped to tackle these challenges head on. So let's dive into some strategies to help you succeed. All right, so our first strategy is all about your impact and how it starts before the bell. So we want you to think about prepping for success. This is standing out before the workday even begins. So this is what it looks like in action. Arrive early, ideally about 30 minutes, you know, give or take your travel and where the school is and things like that. But this extra time really is super helpful to review lesson plans, school routines, any expectations for your assignment. You know, you can look over whether or not you walk students to different places throughout the day, whether you're required to go outside with the class for recess or other activities. You can really take a moment to familiarize yourself with the building. I think it's always really important to locate like the staff room. If there's like adult bathrooms in a certain location of the school, that's really important to know. Obviously, just kind of identifying exits and various emergency things around the school is important as well. During this time, it's also a great way to show your face around the school, give a smile, say hello to others in the building, and let them know you're really there to make an impact. So most importantly, bring a positive, proactive attitude. This is really what stands out. It sets a tone for the day and helps create a positive classroom environment. So remember to stand out. Your work needs to start before the bell rings. The effort you put in ahead of time is really what helps you hit the ground running, ensuring you make a strong first impression and set yourself up for success. All right. So some more actionable ideas to stand out. These are practical tips to support these strategies. Have a backup plan. So when you're going through lesson plans in the morning, or when you get there early and you're arriving and looking things over, it's very rare, but sometimes there are no plans, or the plans might be, just one line of something to do with the class for the day. So emergencies happen, and we want our substitutes to feel prepared and what to do if that happens. So it really is a great opportunity to shine as a problem solver, to take ownership of the situation. Here are a few ideas that we suggest. Keeping a folder with some activities ready is a good idea. If you don't have the resources to do that, something simple like bringing a book with you for the day, making sure, it's age appropriate, but picture books for, younger elementary students, maybe a chapter book for older elementary. Students love to be read to. So that's a great thing that can fill time throughout the day. Maybe you have a few extra minutes before specials or after lunch. You can also build on that. If you read a book, you can always follow up with questions or a discussion. Older students could write a reflection on something that you read. So that's a good strategy just to have in your back pocket and bring along with you just in case. So some other ideas, obviously when you get there early, you can check in with other teachers, maybe on the grade level team or in the building. If there aren't clear plans, that's a great time to check in with other staff members as well. We also suggest setting the stage early and introducing yourself. Students are going to be way more connected to you as their substitute if they know a little bit about you. We want them to know that you're human. You have hobbies, you have interests, maybe a family. You want to share some stuff about yourself to make them to have that connection and start building that. So don't forget to prepare, a concise introduction ahead of time. The first day can be a little stressful, so standing out with confidence will set a positive tone, and students will really pick up on that. This way you'll avoid last minute stress and make a strong, lasting impression for students.
Awesome. On to our second strategy of how to stand out as a substitute. It is consistency. Children thrive on consistency, so this is very important. To do this, you can always try to follow the lesson plan left by the teacher as closely as possible. Why is this crucial, you might ask? When you stick to the plan, it shows that you're prepared and you're capable of handling the classroom without a ton of distractions or disruptions. This is your opportunity to demonstrate that you can take ownership of the classroom and really provide a seamless experience for the students. By doing this, you stand out, you respect the teacher's values and work, and you're you're committed to keeping things on track. Teachers really value substitutes who respect their lesson plans, and it really just reflects on your organizational skills and dedication, which helps you build a strong reputation. So before starting the day, when Rachel was chatting a little bit about what you could do in the morning, here's some other checklists that you could think about in the morning that you could start even even then. So let's see, assigned seating plans, knowing where the students sit or having that access to names and what table they might be at really minimizes disruptions and really keeps things running smoothly. Another thing that I recommend for consistency is available incentives for students. Things like stickers or positive praise really builds that respect and rapport with students, and it's also incentivizing. I do like to note food should not be used unless a school has told you that it should be used. So stickers, positive praise, small things like that really stand out. Attention grabbers. As a previous kindergarten teacher, I needed attention a lot of times in the day. So using familiar attention cues to get students focused. There are lots of creative ideas on Google, things like 1, 2, 3, eyes on me, or hocus pocus, everybody focus, kind of chants back and forth, really get their attention quick. Another thing to provide consistency is that routine bathroom break times. So knowing the procedure for the bathroom breaks really ensures that you maintain control and really just avoid unnecessary interruptions or time spent not learning or in the classroom. So why is consistency important? Following these steps shows that you're prepared, attentive, and capable of managing the classroom just as the regular teacher would. Teachers appreciate substitutes who can step into the role without disrupting the flow of the day. And really, when you follow the plan and stick to the routine, you just set yourself apart as a reliable, organized professional substitute. So some actionable ideas that you can use for consistency. Things like we said, bringing little incentives to help establish that rapport. If classroom work or lesson plans take a little bit longer or shorter than what you planned for, that's okay. Use other free time in the day to catch up or just update the teacher on where you get to. I always liked to when substitutes came to my classroom and in the morning, during a morning meeting, they took some time just to set the student expectations. I think one thing that I loved is when substitute teachers came in and they labeled. Today is going to be different than when your teacher's here, but we're going to do our best to maintain as much consistency as we can. So don't be afraid to label that so that students know how the day is going to go.
Wonderful. Yeah, well said, Paige. Exactly. So our third strategy is all about building rapport with students and staff and building those connections, even on a one-day short-term assignment. So some ways that you can do that right off the bat is learn names as quickly as possible. It really does make a big difference in how students respond to you and helps create more personal, respectful atmosphere. So obviously, like I said before, introduce yourself, share a bit about yourself, whatever you feel comfortable sharing. But I will say the more, the better. And if you have time, a quick name game is a great way to learn student names. You can, kind of make it silly for those younger grades. You can do something slightly different for older grades, but as simple as going around the room, having everybody share their name and then maybe like an animal that starts with the same letter would be a simple name game. Another way to just really learn names if you don't have as much time is having students say their name every time they answer a question or raise their hand to share something. Have them introduce themselves, say their name, repeat their name. Also using the seating chart, sometimes names are written on desks. So walking to the student and saying their name before answering a question just really shows that you're engaged. You want to get to know them and make an impact that day. Just like, I suggested sharing a little bit about yourself, it's also a great idea to ask students questions about themselves. You can ask, it can be simple things like, what do they like to do during their free time? Or, what do they want to be when they grow up? You can even just ask about their family or how they're feeling that day. Just gives you a good sense of who they are, and you're able to make that connection with the students. Showing genuine interest in the students is really how to win them over for the day. So a small conversation can go a long way in making them feel comfortable and valued. And I just want to say that students are the best reporters to their teacher. They love to share the next day on how things went. So really concentrating on making a good impression and good connection with students, but still being, firm and the person in charge in the room will make an impact. And then that will, benefit you in the future. If the students have a productive, positive day, most likely the teacher will want you back in their room.
Awesome. Yeah, on to our fourth strategy. So we've talked about things that you can do before and throughout the day. This is something that you can do after your day is done with the students. So this strategy of mastering the handover. As a substitute teacher, one of the most impactful things that you can do is leave detailed notes for the teacher. Sharing key updates about the day, like what lesson plans you were able to complete, any student behavior issues, or even successes, and anything else the teacher might need to know. It shows professionalism, and it really helps the teacher pick up where you left off seamlessly. Additionally, don't be afraid to ask for feedback. If you have the opportunity to speak with the teacher or school leadership, ask how you did and be open to that constructive suggestions. This is a great way to learn and grow in your role. One time I remember in my classroom, a sub left a note at the bottom of my lesson plans, just like asking if there was anything they could do to ensure the students get the most out of their day in any future subbing roles. And I thought, that is so cool that they're reflecting on that. And that immediately as a teacher made me go report that to my school admin saying, awesome sub, so reflective. Finally, leave the classroom in the same or even better condition than where you found it. Taking those last 15 minutes after you've dropped the students off at the bus to straighten up things, organize materials, and really just ensuring that the space is ready for the teacher to step back into the next day. Those small gestures leave huge impressions and really just show that you value the school, students, and teachers' space and their time. Yeah, so after the day is done, really just going through feedback if you have it, sharing where you got to, and then really just making sure that the classroom is all set for the next day is an excellent way to master the handover.
Wonderful. So our last strategy, number 5, is all about reputation. And I just want to take a moment. We're going to talk about paraprofessionals specifically in just a minute. But a lot of these strategies are great for teachers and paraprofessionals. Paraprofessionals can use a lot of the, name tricks, incentivizing students, and of course, building a reputation. So as a substitute educator, your reputation is key to opening doors for the future and future opportunities. So this is how you could build and maintain a positive reputation. Be friendly with staff members, friendly and flexible. I'm going to add in. Make an effort to engage with everyone, janitors, lunch staff, other, paraprofessionals, teachers. When you're friendly and approachable, it creates a positive atmosphere and shows you respect that school community. And I'll give you a little inside tip from my experience at schools that I've taught at. The front office staff is the key to the school. They know everything. They have a lot of input on staffing and the way the day flows. So introduce yourself every time you walk into the school. Learn their names as well in the front office. Make sure you say bye before you leave. Say your name again. Chat a little bit, ask them about their day. That makes a huge impact. So the front office staff really is key. It's also important to get to know administration and other teachers. So take the time to introduce yourself. You don't always interact directly with administrators throughout the day, but it's important to get some feedback, especially from other team members. It's very common at schools that a grade level will work together. So if you're in a fourth grade classroom for the day, really getting to know the other fourth grade teachers, or if you don't have too much interaction throughout the day, just introducing yourself before you leave for the day and giving them any feedback on how the day went that they can report to their staff member is really helpful. So remember, networking opens doors for more substitute opportunities. By networking with the staff and administrators, you increase your chances of getting more assignments, not only at that school, but other schools as well. The more you engage and build connections, the more likely they'll think of you for future substitute positions. So positive reputation doesn't just help you today, it sets you up for ongoing success.
Awesome. So now that we've gone through all 5 strategies, those were kind of ways to stand out as a substitute teacher or just an educator in general. But here are 3 specific strategies that you can use if you're playing the paraprofessional role. So 1, supporting beyond the lesson plan. Look for ways to support the teacher even before being asked. Walking around the classroom, making sure kids know that you're in proximity and they want to do good for you. So walking around, in free times, interacting with the students. If they're in playtime or recess time, what can you do to learn more about them? The second strategy specifically for paras is be the spark. Go beyond simply helping students stay focused. Be an active motivator. Supporting them in not only their academics and behavior, but just supporting them in their emotional well-being and getting through the day. Be that positive person that they can make a connection to and go to. The third strategy for paraprofessionals is be the owner. That confidence that we were talking about earlier. Step up, take ownership of the classroom management without waiting for direction. If you see something going on, go and see what you can do to help. It goes a long way. The last little tip, just extra strategy for paras that would definitely have you stand out is if you have prep time or you have some time off that's not your break or working with the students in the classroom, offer to support things like bathroom breaks for other teachers or paras. Even stopping to support in the lunchroom real quick. If you see a little kindergartner shaking with their tray, maybe supporting them getting to the table goes a long way. One thing that one of the schools mentioned a paraprofessional did one time is she saw a mess in the hallway and needed paper towels. And she went and got paper towels, cleaned it up real quick, and then went about her business. And those small things, they make such a huge impression. So those are some strategies just for some specific para roles.
Awesome. Thanks, Paige. So some key takeaways from our session today is first impressions matter. Setting yourself up for success from, before the day even begins, whether you're a teacher or paraprofessional, get there early, try and make a good impression. Be prepared and adaptable. Flexibility is super important in a school setting, no matter what your role is. Like I said in the beginning of our session, I was a teacher for 14 years. And in my 14 years as a teacher, I don't think a single day went as I had planned it, even with, so much experience. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes, it goes awry in a different way. But being able to be flexible and concentrate on what's important, which is making an impact on students, is really key. Building those strong connections. Obviously, you want to build connections with students, but also making sure that you're making connections with other staff members is really important. And then ending on a strong note. Literally, you can leave a note. You could leave your name and number. Let them know you're a Zen educator, and that's how, they can contact you. Leaving a note for the teacher, but also it's a good idea, like I said before, stop by the front office. If they're busy or no one's there, you can leave a note just saying thanks for a great day. name, number again is really helpful. So these are, the most important things that we hope you learned in the session today. Okay, so I think we're going to end with some Q&A. We'd love to hear any questions you might have. You can use that question and answer feature for this webinar. We'll take a few minutes if there are any questions.
I also wanted to add that we just recently launched our social media, Instagram and Facebook. So if you follow these QR code links, you can also leave your questions there, and we'll be sharing even more advice there with you, and also we'll be announcing even more events.
I just want to add to just, if anyone's putting in any questions that, as Paige and I are account managers with Zen, your account managers are here for you. So, if we can't answer questions today, they are, always willing to help and answer questions throughout your day and week as well.
We have another question, and it says, do subs get called back even if the children don't really connect with the sub? From your experience, Rachel, Paige?
Yeah, I would say absolutely. Obviously, just like, a teacher myself, there were certain classes that I probably had a stronger connection with than others. So, as Paige said in a lot of her strategies that she shared, it really is important to follow lesson plans, try and be organized, try and maintain control in the classroom. Teachers often know if they have a tough group of kids, or kids who are maybe a little bit more chatty and wild. Sometimes it's hard to make a connection in one day. So combining all of the strategies we shared today, making connections is great when possible, but also following the sub plans, following protocol is really important as well.
Definitely.
Thank you, Rachel.
Perfectly.
You can also use Q&A box if you want to share the feedback with today's session. We really hope that it was really helpful for you. And as I can't highlight enough, we have this channels where you always can reach us and ask your question or ask for advice. We're there for you. So we don't have any more live question at the moment.
I think we do. I think one just popped in. I will read it off. It says, Caitlin says, I'm advancing my career and making the switch from working in early childhood education to a paraprofessional substitute through Zen Educate. Do you have any advice? I can take this one. As a previous early childhood teacher, yes. Every single skill that you used in early childhood is such a huge benefit for you in the paraprofessional role. Obviously, with older grades, you're going to have to change some things up, but those small techniques like reminders and helping them transition, those are going to help you so much in that classroom management realm. So really just utilizing some of those skills that you learned in early childhood, it will be amazing. So yeah, great question.
Yeah. Being able to deal with unexpected situations, I feel like is very common in early childhood. Those skills translate, as Paige was saying, to older grades. We also had a question about what is a paraprofessional. So depending on where you're joining us from, paraprofessional might not be the term used. That is an instructional aid, or an aid is also how paraprofessionals are described in other areas or other states. So those are exchangeable, those terms. And basically, it's someone who's, assisting a class or a specific student to provide support throughout the day. Great questions. We have a question about a specific permit. I actually, Paige, do you know
Yeah.
something?
So Yeah, so Zen Educate, we have various different roles. So we do have early childhood roles, paraprofessional roles, and then substitute teacher roles as well. And so I see that you're studying for the CBEST. That might be a different state thing. I think it is. We're in Minnesota, so I know these rules really well, but CBEST or any other certification, I'm not sure exactly about CBEST, but that is something that we can definitely get you connected to the account manager in your state so that we can find the exact certifications that you will need.
Yeah, and it's definitely worth looking into, talking to your account manager that you're familiar with or onboarding manager, whoever took you through the interview process, reach back out to them and let them know that you're interested in other positions with Zen and ask them about those qualifications. Yeah, that I have a feeling I taught in California as well. I think that is something that they could definitely look into for you.
Hey, Jennifer. Yeah, so Zen Educate, we do have I would say permanent positions. How that works is essentially we have long-term positions that you fulfill. And of course, our goal is to get students, teachers, and staff that they need. And so Zen Educate does not have permanent, necessarily guaranteed positions. We have long-term positions. But what tends to happen is schools find a really good fit. And after a certain number of days or things like that, Zen and that school work together in order for you to become a school employee or a district employee instead. So that is always an option. Lots of good questions.
Hmm. Thank you for the engagement as well. It's nice to hear from you all.
So it seems now that we don't have any further questions. I want to thank Rachel and Paige for their time today. And as mentioned earlier, we are happy to answer any question. Oh, we actually have another one.
Yes. I can take this one. Zen Educate, do we ever increase wages? We work with a bunch of different schools, and based on your education, your performance, and especially school feedback, standing out will help you get that positive feedback, which just gives us the use case to chat with the school about budget and how we can increase those wages. So stand out so that you can get that good feedback and we can increase those wages for sure.
I can take on the next question as well about the, children with different needs. And if there's a sudden change, like a new substitute teacher, that can cause some anxiety. That is absolutely true. So in that situation, lead with empathy. Put yourself in their shoes and try and be as understanding as possible. Whatever their behavior or emotions might be that day is not a reflection on you and what you're doing. It's the situation that student's in. So, talking about strategies with their teacher or other staff members that have engaged with that student is often a really good guide. But at the end of the day, just empathy is the most important thing you can do when a student's going through something difficult.
Definitely. I think one more question came through too. Sorry, we're taking time, Olga, today. What degree path is the best for this type of role? So paraprofessional, any additional training that you can get, we do have training on our platform that you can always take is great. In order to go into teaching, I do suggest going into education. You can get a 4-year degree for early childhood, elementary, specialized things, or secondary. But really, as a paraprofessional, just those continued trainings is really, really relevant. Another great question. Maybe we can have this be our last question, and if anything comes up, we can definitely answer moving forward. But can I sub as a teacher in a special needs class if I'm an instructional aide or substitute aide? So there are different regulations for different roles. So instructional aide or paraprofessional or educational assistant will have certain regulations that you qualify for, as well as a teacher role. So if you're wanting to sub as a teacher, there are just different, based on your state that you're in, there are different requirements that we have. And so account managers for each state and each district will know those exact requirements. So you might be qualified for both, but there might be an additional training or degree that you might have to have for a teaching role.
Perfect. And this was the last question for today. Thank you very much for everyone for your engagement. Thank you, our speakers, for really helpful advice today. And see you next time.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.